Hi, my name is Francisco Dabertas, and I am a Brazilian biologist, and I have a PhD in ecology. And my work is mostly focused in trying to understand how we can manage agricultural landscapes for biodiversity and important activities like producing food and other crops. So today, I want to talk about one of my research papers, which focus on agricultural certification. Now, what that is. So, agriculture is one of the most important drivers of biodiversity loss globally, mostly because of the conversion of natural areas into crops or pasture. To try to reverse some of those impacts, there are a series of recommended good practice, both from a socioeconomic point of view, such as good working conditions, and environmental practice as well, such as minimizing impacts for biodiversity. If a given producer follows those practices established by an independent certifier agency, its produce gets a stamp certifying that it complies with this set of recommendations. Now, the importance of certification for agricultural production has been constantly increasing. So now, for some cultures like coffee, almost 40% of the global production is under some sort of certification. However, there's still a lack of strong evidence on the scientific literature about the efficacy of certification for biodiversity conservation, mostly because of the difficulty of designing studies where you can differentiate the impact of the certification from pre-existing conditions. For example, a farmer that adopts certification, maybe he was already more environmental friendly than other farmers that do not adopt, so that the changes that you see are not due to the certification process. So to help with this, we investigated the impact of certified coffee in Brazil, which is the global leader in coffee production. And to do that, we used state-of-the-art statistical methods so we could differentiate the impact of the certification for itself from farmers that potentially had a more environmental proactive approach. And interestingly, we found that the adoption of certification schemes makes farmers more likely to comply with environmental regulations. And this is specifically for Brazil, where keeping natural vegetation surrounding rivers, uh, or as we call it, riparian vegetation, is mandatory. But as you can imagine, the level of compliance is very low. And we found that the adopting farmers were recovering this vegetation more than farmers that do not have any kind of certification. And this is an important message because riparian forests are vital to keep for different ecosystem services or benefits to people, such as water quality. And it also serves as corridors for animals to move throughout the landscape so they can, use the forest instead of having to cross open areas with cropland, which are much more dangerous because then can be predated. And that's the key message we found. If you would like to know more about it, the study was published in 2023 in the journal Biological Conservation, and the title is Agricultural Certification as a Complementary Tool for Environmental Law Compliance. I hope and you enjoyed this resume, and thanks for listening.